All right, my AP friends, here we go. Quotient rule. In the poll, you told me that you had a pretty decent idea of what was going on, and I believe that to be true. I'm going to do a quick review of the quotient rule. If you're feeling like you've mastered it already, you can probably skip to about the middle of the video. We'll hit this quick example as well. All right, quotient rule. When we're dealing with the quotient rule, we have an expression in the numerator and an expression in the denominator. We have some kind of function where there is division going on, and the quotient rule says that we have the denominator untouched times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator unchanged times the derivative of the denominator, all over the denominator squared. And when we do the quotient rule and we square the denominator, we're not going to expand anything out. What I mean by that is, here's a denominator of x minus 4. We're not going to turn that into x minus 4 squared and then do x minus 4 times x minus 4 and FOIL, all that stuff. We're not going to do it. Just wrap the denominator in parentheses and square it. That's good enough. Now, regarding the quotient rule, it is something that you have to memorize. One thing that I've told my past students, and it does work for them if they're having trouble memorizing, is a quick little mnemonic, if you will, that tends to roll off the tongue. So here's what we're going to do. We've got our numerator, which is f. All right, that's a lot of syllables, numerator, so we're just going to call it the top. And then we've got our denominator, which is g. Also a lot of syllables. We'll call that bottom. Now, the top and bottom are definitely not mathematical, but they're going to help us memorize everything. Finally, we're taking the derivative, and the derivative also has a lot of syllables. We're just going to use the letter D to represent the derivative. Okay, so we're going to do a little mnemonic here. It involves the words top, bottom, and then the letter D. But what we're really talking about is derivative, numerator, and denominator. All right, so here we go. What's our quotient rule? Well, we see G and then F prime. G is the bottom, F is the top, but we want the derivative of that. So we have bottom, D top, minus, now it's reversed, top, and then the derivative of the bottom. So top, D bottom, all over bottom squared. Okay. It rolls off the tongue. Say it fast. Bottom D top minus top D bottom, all over bottom squared. Do it again. Bottom D top minus top D bottom, all over bottom squared. That's your quotient rule. Okay? Now, keep in mind though, bottom is really the denominator, D is really derivative, and then top is really the numerator. Okay? Let's put it into action here with this example. We have f of x is 3x plus 2 over x minus 4. Our charge is to find f prime of x. So here we go. We have to do the quotient rule. All right, quotient rule means a big fraction bar. Denominator is very simple. It's all over bottom squared. So we have x minus 4. We wrap it and we square it. I cheated and went ahead and did that first, but we could have done the numerator first as well. So let's do that numerator. So we see bottom D top. So we're going to write the denominator untouched. We need to make sure that denominator is wrapped in parentheses. And then we're taking the derivative of the top, derivative of the numerator, derivative of 3x plus 2. What's the derivative of 3x plus 2? Yeah, it's going to be 3. So we can put a 3 out there. Some of you may choose to put it before. Some of you are going to put it after. Doesn't really matter. You can put it in parentheses. Don't have to put it in parentheses because it's just a single term. But we have times 3 there. And we have our minus. All right, and now we have top D bottom. So we're going to keep the numerator. Again, that must be in parentheses. 3x plus 2 wrapped up. Okay? And then the derivative of the bottom. Well, the derivative of x minus 4. What's the derivative of x minus 4? Yes, it's 1. So we've got a 1 right here. Technically, don't have to write it. I'll put it in just to make sure that we've got it there. Okay? So that's a quotient rule being done. We're set here. That is a derivative. I want you to go a little bit further because that's what they would expect you to do on the AP exam. They love to put a question like this in the multiple choice section, but none of the answers are going to look like that. They are looking for you to simplify this numerator. All right, so if we have to simplify this numerator, what are we going to do with this 3 and technically with this minus sign as well? What algebraic operation? You got it. Distribution. we're going to distribute the 3, we're going to distribute the -1. Again, technically we don't need that 1 there, so we got to distribute that negative sign though. Okay, both those things need to be distributed. If we do that, 3 times x minus 3 times 4. 3 times x minus 3 times 4. And then we are distributing the negative sign, minus 3x minus 2. Minus 3x minus 2 all over x minus 4 squared. And what happens with the 3x's? Yeah, they cancel. So we're left with -12, take away 2 more, pretty sure that's -14, and we're over x minus 4, that quantity squared, and we're done.